Hope all is well with you and yours. What's good? What's good? What's good? So, tonight's question. It's a good one. What investment firm announced they are looking to bring their funds on chain? Again, what investment firm announced they are looking to bring their funds on chain? You say it's you say it's just news until it happens. What's going on, Hutanik? I know I owe you something, but you owe me something. Not going to say what it is, but you know what it is. There's a lot going on that people probably are not paying enough attention to. But you know what? That's kind of why we're here. That really is kind of why we're here. Just getting my screens all set up, all good now. So, Binance, not a while ago, but a few weeks ago, I told you about how CZ had said that centralized exchanges really are going to have to change their game, because eventually centralized exchanges aren't going to have a place in the coming world in their current state. Hey, Paula, what's good? Thank you for letting me know you invested in yourself. Let me repeat that question one more time. What investment firm announced they want to move all their funds on chain? And they're looking into it. Cantor Fitzgerald, ARK Invest, Goldman Sachs, or other. Need to know. Need to know, folks. Need to know. Also, when you hop on and say hello, I also want you to tell us if you've invested in yourself today. Need to know. It's a very big deal. Very, 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 very big deal. So I told you CZ had said that, in the coming world, centralized exchanges in their current state are not going to survive, which means that obviously they'd have to work on that, right? So Binance just launched Alpha 2.0. Alpha 2.0 is meant to be a bridge between centralized exchanges and decentralized exchanges. I would say they knew what they were doing. They definitely knew what they were doing. Hutanik says that he thinks the Exodus model is leading. Reason is Exodus is like combining Coinbase Exchange and Coinbase Wallet together for Web3. Not really. What Exodus is doing is Exodus figured out, hey, A-Pause, aloha, and thank you for letting us know that you invested in yourself. And Rick Ritchie, thank you for letting us know that you invested in yourself. Exodus wallet is just a wallet. What they did was say, and it's not an exchange, it's not a centralized exchange and a decentralized exchange. It's just a wallet. But what they did is they said, and this is the model that you're talking about that I really like, so I agree with you. What they did was they said, well, we're going to try to be a very flexible wallet. We're going to work with hardware, with other hardware wallets, because what does that do? It increases our security, right? Some people believe in that security, so we'll make that bridge. What else did they do? Well, they said that, what good is a wallet if we don't have direct connectivity to, a space where you can buy and sell crypto? So they went looking for where we can do that. Where can we do that? And they started cutting deals and they started integrating. That's the model. That's the model that exchanges want to use. You're exactly right. It's just that they're a wallet, not an exchange. What CZ is doing is he's saying, we have Alpha 2.0 that will literally bridge centralized exchanges with decentralized exchanges. What I really want you to think about is, look at what that does. They've got a whole bunch of coins. They've got a whole bunch of coins. And now you'd be able to shop for best price. You'd be able to probably increase the number of coins that you have access to directly. So if you can only on ramp here, and here's where it's going to be really, really tough. And I would have to see how they do it. So I can't get to certain coins if I live in a certain state or certain country, correct? Correct. So if you hook up with this decentralized exchange with another exchange, is that a roundabout way of me actually not having a Binance account, but having a Binance account? Is that a way for people to get around any kind of rules that say you can't do business here or you can't leverage those services? I bet you a lot of people haven't thought about that. I bet you they did. I'm a product developer, so I think about these things. What would stop me, depending on how you have it set up? They'd have to have the same geographic security, right? So on this decentralized, and what's the on-ramp? Is it you're going through the decentralized exchange and then going out to Binance? Or are you going through Binance and going out to the centralized exchange? So depending on how they set that up, that would be almost ridiculously interesting. And I'm all for it. I want to know. I want to see it in action. I want to find a video from them that tells me how it works. What are the ramifications? What are the hoops that I have to jump through? Excuse me, had to sneeze. So what kind of hoops did I have to jump through to do that transaction? Because in order to work with a centralized exchange, you need some kind of an on-ramp, right? And this is where I point to USDT. No, they don't pay me or anything. We're not affiliated, nothing like that. Wish we were, but we're not. Anyway, Hutanik, I'll get to that in a second. Because I know you're adding to the point. Just give me a second. So if you're going to on-ramp, if you're using one of these decentralized exchanges, you're most likely going to have to use a credit card. And you have to be authorized and all that other good stuff because the credit card company themselves will stop you. How do you get around that? Oh, that's right. You go get some USDT and interact with the centralized exchange because most of their pairings are with USDT. Oh, you don't see it on this exchange? Well, we have this little avenue that you could take to go to Binance and see if they have it. Yeah. So, excuse me. So there are certain ways that you can interact, certain things that you can do, and certain things you cannot do. Hence the GMB3. Do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. So that not middle one, that's not the middle finger. That's the one next to it, the ring finger. That's the ring finger. So the ring finger, know your entries and exits. The first thing you think of when you get to that rule, that GMB3 rule is, Ham's house, is you think of money, right? What's the point at which I'm going to buy, sell, trade, whatever? But knowing your entries and exits also means what is my route to buying something and what is my route to sell something. Don't worry, the book is coming out soon. I'm still working on the graphic. Graphic is coming along nicely. I think you guys are really going to like it. And that's something that we have to think about. That's something that we have to work on, right? So when you're looking at it like that, you sit back and you say to yourself, oh, that's right. Because most exchanges will allow you to leverage USDT. So know your entries, know your exits. So I want to know and I want to see how they implement their geographic borders, right? Their digital borders. If you're in the United States, you cannot use Binance. You have to use Binance.us. Well, now that you can use Binance.us, I get my account back. Well, I never lost it. I still have it. Unitech23, what's good? Haven't seen you in a minute. So, Hutanic, I'm getting to it. So, when you look at that, that's what we're talking about. Your entries and exits. So, on the last Big Bagger call, we were trying to figure out how can we purchase a particular token? And we couldn't find one. But it doesn't matter. That's the research that you have to do to understand your entries and exits. Hutanic is saying, I think Trezor is working with Coinbase. I use security keys for two-factor authentication. Bam. When I logged into Coinbase, my Trezor had a Coinbase logo on it, made me think centralized exchanges are letting you use hardware wallets. It's highly possible. It's highly possible. There are a lot of times that you'll see features just pop up because you're using it, but they don't make a big announcement because they're kind of floating in the balloon. So it's highly possible because they know that the current centralized exchange model, it's not going to be that long before it's bye-bye. I told you. It's like CDs and DVDs. VHS. I mean, I'd extend it to include VHS, right? So you start when VHS started and you go all the way through CDs and DVDs, Blu-rays, all that stupid stuff. And now where are they? They're coasters. They're artwork, crockeler artwork. You put them in the microwave for a couple of seconds and and you put it up on yeah. We used to do that all the time. Yo, Leroy Tice, what's good? Thank you for letting me know you invested in yourself. Unitech23, did you invest in yourself today? That means, did you take 15 minutes and do investment research? Everybody, I need to get an answer from everybody. Haven't seen it from Hutanic because he's so special. You know you still got to answer the question, even though I know the answer. Got to be fair. Just saying. And Rick Ritchie, I haven't heard an answer from you. Oh, no, you did. You did. It's right there. You did, right there. I can always count on you to be like that. Oh, yes, Unitech23. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. And Leroy Tice, he invested in himself. 8 Paws. Did 8 Paws say, yes, she did, as soon as she said hello? That's what's up. I need to know that my whole family out here is actually investing in themselves. You guys might not believe it, but it actually puts wind in my sails to know that you're actually investing in yourselves. It's a big deal. It means a lot to me. It honestly does. So, if you're going to be in the exchange business, well, you've got to find a new business model, right? Did you know that there are a lot of crypto companies looking to get banking licenses? What did I tell you guys? When I first started this, I started telling people, you know what's going to happen. Banks are going to want to be exchanges, and exchanges are going to want to be banks. And here you go. Now that the regulation is set, and banks are off to the races, every crypto company out there, not every, but you know what I mean, is looking to become a bank. They want to have the right to do the same thing. So can I buy a bank? I'll buy a bank if it's going to be quick for me. I'll do that, right? Because banks are allowed to custody crypto. How are they going to custody crypto? They'd have to cut a deal. Now, how can I kind of block a bank? I go buy a bank. And people are sitting there going, buy a bank? Yeah, you can go buy a bank. You can turn into a bank. You can do a lot of things to become a bank. And if you do that, that would be huge. Brian Armstrong, I told you, last week? I believe I reported it last week. Brian Armstrong came out there and he was like, yeah, we want to be a bank. I want to be allowed to do banking. Because if they're allowed to do that, doesn't that make on-ramping of money easier? Ooh. And I know last night we were talking about the whole, 5-day delay on whether or not you can move your funds and stuff like that. I think that would go away. I absolutely think that would go away if exchanges were allowed to become banks. I have no idea. I don't know anything about LCX. Wish I could answer you. No idea. AC Power was good. Maurizio, what's going on, my man? Thank you, Maurizio. So you have to think about. So Maurizio, how come you're not a big bagger yet? You should be a big bagger already. You should be a big bagger already. No, I'm just saying. But that's going to be a hot area. And people are, most people are not really thinking about this. But the second a large store says we're going to accept crypto, and not just Bitcoin. I mean, we're going to accept crypto. Bitcoin, Ethereum, even Polygon, Cardano. We're going to accept crypto. Right there. That's when the world changes. That second, that's when the world changes. And everybody's sitting there going, why? How is that? What are you talking about? The world changes right there at that moment. Because I won't need to flip my crypto back to fiat to go use it at that store or pay my credit card bill. I will literally just get up, whip out my phone, and boop, have my bacon, egg, and cheese on a roll, salt, pepper, no ketchup, with my boosted low coffee on the side. I'm a kid from the Bronx. We grew up on that. That's standard breakfast. Like, for real. That's the standard breakfast. So, if that happens, when that happens, not even if, when that happens, and obviously the next question is going to be, Eddie, when do you think that's going to happen? Within the next 5 years. And I don't even think it'll be 5. You're going to have too many companies out there, too many stores out there. Lieutenant go in the corner, man. Oh, you little... Almost made me tear with that one. Can't help if Jordan fades back. Yep. So, it's not shilling if that's what you're in just sharing. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I know nothing about LCX. I know jack squat about LCX. I have no interest in LCX. It hasn't hit my radar yet. If that's what you guys are talking about, because I just can't. I just can't get into everything that's out there. LCX. So, question for you is: you're asking a question about LCX. The question is, what's their rank on CoinMarketCap? Tell me their rank on CoinMarketCap. Interested to know. Hey, let's go over tonight's question again. Tonight's question: what investment firm announced they are looking to bring their funds on chain? Cantor Fitzgerald, ARK Invest, Goldman Sachs, other. And if you say other, drop it in the comments, because I need to know. I needs to know. Ham's House, what's good? Ham's House, I am not going to answer your question until you tell me if you've invested in yourself today. 15 minutes. 15 minutes. You know the rule. 15 minutes. Tell me. Did you do it? Leroy Tice, the reason why we're never going to have a Discord is because we own a social media platform. If you are a big bagger, you already have access to that platform. Big baggers have access to it first. Thank you, Ham's House, for letting us know. So after big baggers, then once we're done adding everything to it, we're going to open it up to the world. That would be it. I feel like I'm missing a whole bunch of questions. Okay, that was... Oh, that's where that came from. Okay. Oh, no, Leroy. The reason why Hutanik is asking that question is because last night we had a discussion about another content creator and the news was wrong. So that's what he was asking about. He knew you were asking me a different question, but that's what he was asking about. On CoinMarketCap, it is number 306. Unitech 23. I wouldn't even bother. And absolutely no way would I even bother. Would I even trust? Would I even fathom to do something like that? Nope. That's a hard no, real fast. Bam. You're not even a top 250? No. No, sir. So I don't care. No, sir. Nope. Yeah. I'm glad you asked the question, though. I'm very happy you asked the question, though. Oh, thanks, man. But even though you trust my judgment, always do your own research. Always know your entries and exits. And absolutely invest deliberately. Follow the GMB3, Ham's house. Follow the GMB3. Why? Because the more you do your own research, the more things will stick in your head. The more things that stick in your head, the quicker it'll be for you to identify what your entries and exits should be, both in acquisition and sale, and also at the monetary point, right? And then that enables you to absolutely invest deliberately. That's why. So yeah, trust but verify. Even me, I've been wrong. I can be wrong on things. I was wrong. No, the Bianca's not here right now. At least I don't see her, so I can say it. So I was wrong about Toncoin. If she was here, she'd light me up. Founders need to hold less than 30% of the max supply. That's a good tip. That's a good tip. That is absolutely a good tip. For a coin that's slightly more mature. When a coin first comes out, it takes a lot to move a coin. I mean, GMB TV has not moved. It's not going to move until we launch the new platform and we really start getting things out there. So yeah, it takes a lot. It takes a lot. But in general, rule of thumb, yeah. If the founders are holding more than 30%, because everybody's got to eat. Everybody's got to eat. But if the founders are holding more than 30%, then you have to worry about a rug pull. So it's not a hard, fast number is what I would say. I would say it's like watching Pirates of the Caribbean. It's more like a guideline. But the reason why I say this is because I can have the founders holding only 30%, but the founders' family holding 70%. You know what I mean? So you kind of use that as a rule of thumb and then kind of look at it, size everything up. It's a part of your tokenomics. It's a part of your tokenomics. And if you're a big bagger, you would have seen the posts that Hutanic left that would help you do your tokenomics. There are a lot of tools that he dropped on there. Mr. Biggs dropped some tools on there. I'm just saying, there's information being shared. I think the new website is gonna be pretty good. We've got new features coming. I'd say this week. We're really close because we want an image uploader, but we don't want just an image uploader. We want an image uploader where you can crop the image. We want that, so we're doing that. Need a treasury and gas fees. You should just write that up as an article and drop it on the site. Giving too much of a lesson here, young man. But yeah, you're gonna want to figure out, okay, what are the things about tokenomics that you want to pay attention to? Because not everybody pays attention to everything about tokenomics, within tokenomics, right? So what's important to you? What's your, because the reason why it's like that is because you have a risk tolerance and everybody has a different risk tolerance. And that's the big deal. Michael McCaskill, you saying I'm boring you? Because that's what that looks like. It looks like what you're saying is that you're boring me. Either I'm boring you or you're trying to heave. I'm disgusting you. Is that what you're saying? I can't believe that you'd be saying that. You're hurting my feelings. I don't know. Knowing if the team is docked or not is another one with tokenomics to find good projects. There's a lot. Like, that's a good one. There's a lot. There are a lot of details. You'll be like, oh, that's a good one. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, that you'll be sitting there for like a half hour saying, oh, that's good, that's good, that's good. And then you'll be sitting there trying to figure out what's the combination of those that fit my risk tolerance. Yeah. So if you buy my first book, that'll help you. It'll help you understand how to figure out your risk tolerance. Crypto Foundations for Building Multi-Generational Wealth. It'll give you a baseline understanding of what these people are talking about. Right? Fully diluted value, just a whole bunch of stuff. A whole bunch of stuff. And you'll get there. And although it's a thin book, it's not a thin book. Up at 4:30 and still rocking it on GMB at 7. Whoa, dude, thank you. Thank you. But I'm going to literally say that you're a wuss because I've been up since 4. As soon as this is over, I'm probably going to smash my head on the computer screen. So I know where you're coming from, man. I know you've been working on. How's the book coming, actually? All jokes aside, I hope the book is coming along well. We have more news. So we were just talking about how banks want to be, how crypto want to be banks and banks want to be crypto. Yeah. Xapo Bank in Gibraltar offers Bitcoin-backed loans up to $1 million. This is following Coinbase doing the same thing, restarting it, means they had it already back then, restarting it this past January. And then you have firms like Cantor Fitzgerald, which is also entering the space. I told you, somebody asked me, not everybody, but a lot of people had asked me in the past, where can I get some of these loans? Well, you got to know the right people, which means, I know I'm being a prick. I'm sorry. It's not my fault. It's just it's the news. Don't blame the news. Not only do you have to know the right people, you have to have the right amount of funds, and you have to know the private bankers involved. They make the introductions. Now you're involved in a private bank that's willing to value your Bitcoin holdings and use that as collateral on your loan. So you're wealthy now, right? I'm not even playing. There are people out there holding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Bitcoin. Low. I mean, it's hard enough just to have 1 Bitcoin. Imagine having, less than 10. You've got more than 1, less than 10. But the idea is that you're hoping that it will wind up going, beyond $1 million at some point. And then you'll be sitting on your nest egg. Right? So there's that. So you sit back and you wonder about this stuff. You take it all in and you say to yourself, Xapo Bank in Gibraltar is doing it. Coinbase, not promoted to everybody, is doing it. Cantor Fitzgerald, private bank, is doing it, not promoting it to everybody. You have to, if you could, you would know, is how they're going to look at it. If you could, you would know. Your financial advisor is going to be able to tell you, hey, there are some private banks out there that you could do this kind of stuff. If you're dealing with a banker right now and within 2 phone calls, they can't give you an answer, I'd be finding another banker. Like, seriously. So yeah, I'd be thinking about that. Now, there was a question. Rick Richard, did you ever answer the question from Hutanik about your Discord? Not your Discord, but the Discord you're involved in? Just curious if you're able to tell him, hey, and what his reaction was. No, I'm not going to mention the name in case you say that wasn't a good reaction. I'm not here to put down other people. I might talk about them, but I'm not going to mention their name if I'm talking about them. Not heard back yet. Okay. What else do we have? We've got. I'm still kind of interested in that whole Xapo Bank thing. Then you've got. I have to report it. Justin Sun of Tron fame teases a Solana collaboration. For everybody that came at me about my feelings about Solana, I want you to go do your own research on Justin Sun. I want you to go do your research on Justin Sun. And then look at this news that he's teasing a collab with Solana. Something that's irked me for a long time. Sorry, I need some lotion. My hands are dry. Something that's irked me for a long time is we all know that FTX was deeply involved with Solana, right? They held a lot of Solana. Why? Back then, Solana didn't have a big name. Not at all. Why? Never found out why. Gave up looking, just said, whatever. And then you have their network gremlin. You have their faux pas with their commercial over the past couple of days. It was a major faux pas. Major. And the reason why I say it's a major faux pas, okay, I probably didn't explain myself before. So on my channel, we've got people that have voted for Trump. We have people that, can't stand Trump. We have people that are of color, not of color. We have people from all over the world. What does that signify? It signifies that crypto really is supposed to be inclusive. It's supposed to be inclusive. And the commercial that Solana chose to run, it didn't seem inclusive. Did not seem inclusive at all. Right? Oh my God, stay your tail in the corner. Ugh. I'm not even going to read it, but it's funny as hell. Stay in the corner because it made me laugh. Oh, man. I'm going to steal your barbecue. So that it strikes me that Solana would cut a deal with Justin Sun or anything that Justin Sun has involvement with. Before I wasn't a fan of Solana for, doing certain things, like real-time investments or, you know what I mean? Things like that, because that network gremlin can pop up at any time. That's why you don't see enterprises looking to use Solana to do anything. Cute to trade, cute to talk about, but we're not putting on chain with that. Nope. You don't see that. You hear a whole lot of other chains, even Polygon. Yep, that's right. You heard me. But you're not hearing that one. Not in a meaningful way. Oh, it was considered. Yeah. And now they want to do it. Justin Sun is teasing that they're going to do a collaboration. Oh, I'm so done. I am absolutely done. I think I'm barely in the black on Solana. Trying not to let my feelings and emotions move me. But wow. It's still making me laugh, Hutanic. It's still making me laugh. I'm looking right at it. It's still making me laugh. Anybody that spends that much on a banana. Rick Ritchie, you're in the corner too. Oh, man. True. And then he ate it. I mean, it's not about the eating of the banana. It's kind of like, well, what else are you going to do with it? It'll go rotten. I mean, so he got the banana and the tape. He ate the banana. Did he keep the tape? Because it would be cool to put the tape, in the portrait and fashion it as if the banana was there. Now the banana's not there, but you just have the tape holding nothing up. See, that would be the completion of it. I could see that if he was doing something artsy like that, but not for the amount of money that he spent. That's that level of stupid, just like the Winklevoss twins and Gemini setting the world's record for the number of drones flown. Like, really? Really? Okay. Yeah. You just let that rip. You just let that rip. But it tells me about your judgment. And it makes me wonder. I mean, you're worth the money that you're worth because you got broke off because of what? Because of Facebook, right? Because you got cheated out of Facebook. But one rich dude, or cheated his friends, and then eventually he had to pay them off, and then they went and they did this crypto thing, but it kind of shows me that you don't have the business sense. You did it just to do it. So Justin Sun bought that banana just to do it, but now Solana and Tron, or Justin Sun, one of his projects, they want to do something together. Yeah, I'm done with Solana. I am absolutely done with Solana. Was that proven in a court of law, Hutanik? Oh my God, you are so deeply in that corner. We're gonna have to. You're in the corner of the corner at this point. I just read the other one. You're in the corner of the corner. So yeah, that was a big deal to me. Then we have Cardano's Hoskinson dismisses centralization claims and praises XRP. There were accusations about Cardano being centralized, and he unexpectedly praised XRP. It keeps making me think that there could be something going on there. I hope there is. But maybe before you could say that. But how do you say that Cardano's centralized now? What's your excuse now? You know what? I don't even care. It's not. Moving on. Strategy raises $500 million, of course, for more Bitcoin. MetaPlanet's doing the same thing. MetaPlanet's offering, obviously, some debt to raise, I think it's $2 billion to buy some Bitcoin. And there was somebody, I think it was it on Bloomberg? I think there was somebody on Bloomberg, one of the hosts of a show, was just like, Strategies thought process on this is, nah. It's a no. Like, no. And I'm kind of like, wow. I mean, most people don't even know that it's strategy. Like, I think it's a dumb name because it's hard to write with, because when you go through spell check and it checks everything, it'll think your sentence is incorrect. But that's just me. Whatever. But he was putting down the idea that, oh man, they just, what he's doing just doesn't seem to work to me. And I'm like, we'll see. His aggregate price was $35,000 when we were down in the teens. And then we blew all the way up to 109. Yes, we're down in the 80s right now. We're down at 83,000. Okay. Let's suppose with all the crypto that he's bought, his mid-range price is in the 50s or 60s. Let's go with that. It's worth $83,000 right now. And so he's running over to banks and being like, yo, I got some crypto. You want to give me a loan? Just saying. Something that I have to tell you guys about. Microsoft warns of a new StilachiRAT malware targeting crypto wallets. StilachiRAT malware exploits Google Chrome extensions, including MetaMask and Phantom, to steal user credentials and clipboard data while evading forensic detection. So, yeah, you might want to be careful. You might want to be careful out there. And this malware can get to you in so many different ways. I don't care how good you are. It can get to you in so many different ways. So please be careful. All right. The prices will continue down to mid 70s. It's a gift. If it got down to the now you know why I'm holding dry powder. He's right. Just DCA down over the period of time. He says it's 3 weeks of what you can invest. Sprinkle it in. On the downside, that's what I want to do. I'm going to sprinkle in a little, until I can kind of spot a trend where I can see that it's tasting a bottom. It's a hair away from a bottom. And I'll see if it hits and establishes that bottom. And I'll buy. So when I see it dip, that's when I'm going to be like, sprinkle, 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 pause, sprinkle. On the way back up, sprinkle, sprinkle, pause, sprinkle. Just saying. That's where I would be. That's literally where I would be with it. So that's a lot. We're not done yet. Crypto whale escapes liquidation, makes $16.39 million, worth of profit from a $332 million Bitcoin short. A trader leveraged that money, 332 mil, to short Bitcoin, faced initial losses, injected 5 million in USDC, and ultimately profited 16.39 million with a 100% hit rate in 1 month. Wow. Cojones mucho grande. Just saying. I mean, I know I didn't say it properly in Spanish, but anybody who knows that, they get the drift. They get the drift. There was a CME gap between 73K and 84K. That's big. That's big, 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 big. The CME gaps, you're going to have to look those up, but the CME gaps have been pretty dead on lately. I would say lately. And at any point in time, certain things are just going to be dead on, and then they're not. You know, it's like that. It's like that. What else is there? SwiftX. SwiftX acquires Easy Crypto, expanding to 1.1 million customers. Australian exchange SwiftX acquires New Zealand's Easy Crypto, adding those users. One of the biggest New Zealand mergers to date. Now, I want you to think about this. That's an exchange getting with another exchange to expand. That's tiny exchange buying another tinier exchange and growing. That's going to get on somebody's radar. That's absolutely going to get on somebody's radar. Yeah, you do need to pull back like a tsunami to fill it. Do they always get filled? Yeah, I guess you're right. They always do get filled. So looking at that news, and then you have crypto investigator Zach XBT links North Korea to DeFi hacks. Of course, he's been doing it for a while, so that's not what's new. What he's saying is that he's exposing Lazarus Group's involvement in Thorchain and OKX fund laundering, warning of potential anti-crypto regulations due to state-sponsored cybercrime. Yep. So the United States is looking into, regulations. A lot of countries are looking into regulations, but ultimately it's going to be you that's going to have to safeguard yourself. A lot of things that happen are because we were dumb enough to do something that we knew we probably shouldn't have done, or because we didn't do enough research. It sounded too good to be true, but we were kind of like, oh, let's give it a try. It's not going to hurt, because you have that fake false security that nothing's going to happen to you. And then something goes awry. Within the past month, I know 2 people that were taken for rides. Personally. It's not fun. It's one thing when you make your own mistake and let's say you burn some coins. I've done that. I can admit to that. I've done that. I made a wrong move. Thought I knew my entry and exit, and there went the coins. That's why when I do something new, small group of coins, I do a small thing first, see if it works. If it doesn't work, damn. I'm not going to be, it could be 2 coins, 3 coins, 4, I don't care. I'm going to be ticked that it didn't work. Now at least I know that it didn't work, and I still have the bulk of it. Just lesson learned. I paid for a class. That's how I look at it. But you look at this stuff and you're kind of like, yeah, we have to be on top of things ourselves. We really, really do. Really, really do. The U.S. drops charges against BitClout founder Nader Al-Naji in another case that's being dropped. And long list of cases that have been dropped. A long list. And we're still waiting for the Ripple thing. I think that's all but been decided. I think it's decided already, but they're doing a little bit more research because they are coupled with that. They really are trying to see, well, is it a security or is it a commodity? And I think they've made that decision already as well, which is one of the reasons I think why there are talks between the SEC and CFTC to team up to do things. Also, it's highly possible that they don't want to do anything until the new SEC chair is in, and that could be it. They could just be in a holding pattern until then. So we'll see. We'll literally see. I think we're that close to it. Stablecoin regulation bill could actually hit Trump's desk, the new regime's desk, within 2 months, as per another. That's the Genius Act, as per another politician. So 2 months from today puts us end of May, early April timeframe. Early June timeframe. Ooh, starts to get interesting, doesn't it? It starts to get really, really interesting. And then you figure out, well, wait a minute. If that happens, look at the calendar. We've got a few things running that could really make it work. I told you yesterday or Sunday or late last week, I forget when, so much news, that the SEC is prioritizing the ETF applications. It means they're going to be put to bed probably relatively soon. That could happen in April, May timeframe. Again, good news, good news, good news. Now we just have to factor in bad news, and then we can see how the market's going to go. You can kind of see what your opportunities are going to be. That's what I tell you guys. Something you should do. Whenever you get dates, even if they're roundabout dates, even if it's, June, February, they're based on the month, not on a real date or a date range. Make note of the date range. See what overlaps. Within this time period, this can happen. But then within this time period, overlapping that other one, this could happen. Pay attention to those things. These are all clues about how the market could move based on the timing of these things. Because you know that the first ETF that gets approved, that's going to be good news. The market's going to take it as a positive. Things are going to shoot up. This is why I DCA. This is why in my hodling wallets, I dollar cost average on a regular basis. Just boom, 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 boom. Right? Because I get to take advantage of that. On my trading wallets, I might go a little heavy in the hopes that I know that an ETF is going to come and it's going to blow up. And I told you guys this morning that Hashdex changed its ETF. They changed their S1 application for their ETF to include a few more coins. Originally, it was going to be Bitcoin and Ethereum. And then it's going to be Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. Give me a moment. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, Cardano, Chainlink, Avalanche, Litecoin, and Uniswap. And I said I would definitely drop Solana. I would absolutely drop Solana and replace it with Aave. Right? I could easily also see dropping Litecoin for Sui. And I like Litecoin. I have nothing against Litecoin. I don't like Solana, but I have nothing against Litecoin. I like Litecoin. It's one of my early players. I like Litecoin. So, but that's their lineup. I'm actually shocked that they didn't get out of Solana. I'm shocked that they put Solana forward. I've been like, you'd have been better off doing Sui. You'd have been way better off doing Sui. Somebody should have fudged that. Be like, no, we meant Sui. We meant Sui. Solana over Sui. And now they're going to get involved with, they might get involved with Justin Sun and Tron. Ugh. Ew. That's just nasty. That's like walking in your new shoes, stepping in something nasty. I'm good off that. What other news do we have? Institutional investors prefer XRP over Solana as per a Coinbase report. A joint Coinbase and Ernst & Young Parthenon study finds 34% of institutional investors hold XRP, surpassing Solana's 30%. Again, investment is not the same as integration. Because if you look on the integration side, XRP blows away Solana. I don't think any of those institutions are leveraging Solana at this point. And if they are, I'd be shocked. Because what do you do when that downtime happens? I'd just be like, well, you've done lost your mind. That would be a financial institution that I would not ever get involved with. That's right. You heard it here first. I would not get involved with them if they're bucking around, if they're actually integrating Solana. And if I already had an account and they're integrating Solana, I will drop that. I will close that account. I would close that account. Not for nothing, Hutanic. I wouldn't put it past you to actually be rocking a Cardano tattoo. Got Hosky's face right there. Little heart. Flex up. Just joking. At least you didn't get the Solana tattoo like you said. But that's a lot of news for tonight. That's a lot of news. I mean, did I disappoint? I mean, I try not to disappoint. It's very rare when I don't have a lot of stuff to talk about. I mean, I scour. I dig. Like when it's a light news day, like I feel something in my bones. So I look for writers and authors and reporters that I like. And I look to see, did they write something and it just didn't get picked up by everybody? Is that what happened? Because, yeah, I think May is going to be lit. I really do think May is going to be lit. I think June could be lit. Because remember, it's May-June timeframe. They'd have to expedite everything to make May work from an ETF perspective. So I think June. Everything could pop off. Yeah, the BTC conference is in May. That's right. I was going to go, and then I was like, why? Why? There'll be a lot of announcements. There'll be a lot of news coming out of that. And it's probably going to be the hottest one to date. Oh, we passed our scan. That's nice. Whatever. Yeah, PCI compliance stuff. So yeah, May will be lit because of that. June will be lit because of ETFs. Stablecoin bill, again, May, June timeframe. That could be it. I was just wondering, we could get a deal between a bank and an exchange for custodial services. If that happens, that would be good news. Because if one does it, it'd be funny. Jamie Dimon likes talking out of the side of his mouth. It would be funny if JP Morgan goes out and buys an exchange or cuts a deal with Coinbase. That would be a game changer. That would be an ultimate game changer right there. The only thing that gives me hesitancy about a huge six month pump is if they keep manipulating the markets and they overdo it. The other thing that I'm paying attention to are the number of expected jobs to be lost. People out of work. The only people that want a recession are wealthy people. The only people that want a recession are wealthy people. Because a recession doesn't affect them in the slightest. Right? And they're the only ones that have the money to go buy everything for pennies on the dollar. So that's something to think about. Does anybody know when Powell's last day is? Like when his contract is up? That's next year, isn't it? Isn't his contract up next year? I used to know when it was, and I totally forgot. I'm like spazzing out. But that would be interesting because that would signal a change. Yeah, there's a lot of stored up inflation in housing. It's going to be hard for housing to come down because there are a lot of wealthy people and financial firms that have bought up whole neighborhoods to do exactly that, to raise prices, because they know they're never going to sell. They're only going to rent those houses. They're only going to rent them. And the people that live there will probably be slaves. Not in the true sense of the term, but I just think about it. Can't afford to live any place else so that you can be close enough to work. And can't afford to buy a house because they're too expensive, because all the single family starter homes have been bought up. So moving that American dream just out of touch again, right, keeps everybody as a renter having to pay out the money that they would have been saving to live. Do your own research on that. Just take a look. Take a look. I told you about that 60-minute, the article on 60 Minutes, where you have 3 companies in the greater Atlanta, Georgia area that own 30,000 starter homes. 30,000 starter homes, and one of them owns 11,000. Wow. Yeah. Think about that. It does need to be reset, but how do you do that? Numerically, monetarily, how do you do that? These large companies, these large banks, they can afford to just sit there. Doesn't matter to them if they just pay the mortgages. They don't care. They can afford to wait. Time is on their side. People need housing. You want to know the way it's going to work? If we create irrigation systems that can properly irrigate or properly get water to places in the United States where we could then build homes so people can live in them. We have the land. That's not the problem. We have the land. No reason for anybody to be homeless. Just saying. It will be a few years before the housing bubble happens. I don't think it's a housing bubble. I think it's a commercial real estate bubble. Commercial real estate. That's what I'm looking at. How MBS is legal since... MBS, spell it out, please. Mortgage-backed securities, yeah. And you see what happened with them, right? You ever watch that movie? Watch that movie. Watch that movie, The Big Short. Watch that movie. There were a lot of people in that movie there were a lot of people that should have been mentioned in the movie that weren't. I know one of them. I know one of them. And he was like, yeah. He saw it coming. He had made his money, saw it coming, got the hell out, quit his job, and stayed out of the news for like a year. Didn't say jack. Nothing. Just stayed out of the news, stayed low, kept his name clean, and then he was able to go back after a year. And he was one of the guys that he's one of the guys that thinks about stuff like that. He creates the products. I'm telling you, do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. That's the GMB 3, Ham's house. Now, let's get to the question. Yes. There's more money made in the mortgage-backed securities than the loan itself. Yep. Now let's get to this question. What investment firm announced they are looking to bring their funds on chain? Cantor Fitzgerald, ARK Invest, Goldman Sachs, other. It was ARK Invest. Kathy Wood said it. Kathy Wood said it. So May 15th, 2026 is Jerome Powell's term as a Federal Reserve chair. Thank you very much for that, A-Pause. Thank you very much for that. So, yeah, 1 year, 2 months from now, that will be another shocker. If the economy is doing well, everybody will be clapping their hands when he leaves. If the economy is not doing well, everybody be clapping when he leaves. If the economy is doing really well, everybody's going to be like, oh no. Yeah. Put that on your calendars. That's going to be a major event. Leading up to it will be the major event. The actual day won't be anything. Leading up to it will be tumultuous. And you figure what? A few months ahead of time, we'll know who's going to take his place? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And let's see, 2026. Depending on how the economy is doing, the new regime might not be able to name whoever it is they want to name. Because they might not be running the government the way they were. Right now, they control all three branches, right? That would be an election year. And if things aren't going so well, yeah, you're going to see people start to distance themselves. Because you're not going to get a third term. Unless you break the law, you're not going to get a third term. Which means by that time, it's going to be lame duck season. So have to play nicely with everybody. That is a nut state to be doing that. Well, is it really? May 15th? What's so nuts about it? I don't think that's a nut state. What's so nuts about it? And what did I miss? They're trying to take her deep. I must have missed something. Anyway, it's 9:03, everybody. This is Eddie J on crypto for growmybag.tv. I hope you like what I'm doing. If you do me a favor, smash the likes, tell your friends about us. And if you are ready, go become a bagger. A bagger is only $12 on growmybag.tv/sign-up. And it's only $120 a year. Both are yearly prices to become a big bagger. That would be huge. Franklin Templeton could be the answer for poll. No, they're looking to do settlements. I knew you were going to say that. They didn't say anything about, because they don't have that. They're not looking to bring their funds. They're looking to do settlements. They were looking at Polygon at one point, and they were there, and they're doing it with another chain. So I'd have to see. But yeah, good try. You'll get me next time. Everybody, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your patience. And as always, thank you for your trust. I greatly appreciate you. Have a good night, everybody.